Welcome back to the channel. Welcome if you're new. For those of you that are new, my name is Anna and this is At Home with Anna. So Ernie comes home today and I promised him a bunch of tasty treats. One of the things that he really misses that my mom used to make is raisin bread. And years ago, my son bought me a bread machine. We're talking maybe 20 years ago, somewhere around there. He bought me a bread machine and I have treasured that thing. So what we're going to be making today is cinnamon raisin bread in the bread machine. We also are going to be making some old-fashioned pumpkin bread. We're going to be making a 10-minute pear tart and pear and ginger muffins. I have what's left of my beautiful pears that I got, and they are starting to get really soft. So I want to make sure to use these up before they go completely bad. So the first thing we're going to put together is our bread machine cinnamon raisin bread because I want to get that going. It takes about 3 hours. He's going to be so excited when he gets home. It's always so warm and cozy to walk into a home and smell like it's been, you know, somebody's been in the kitchen baking. So it's a beautiful day outside. We're in the low 70s. There's a slight breeze and fall is definitely in the air. So I thought I would romanticize baking day by making a cup of coffee and lighting a beautiful candle and just enjoying my day here in the kitchen. And I want to take you guys along with me. Okay guys, this is a super simple bread recipe. I've already made one and it is delicious. First thing we're going to add is 1.5 cups of lukewarm milk. I went ahead and microwaved this for 60 seconds. That is the first thing that goes into our bread pan. The next thing I'm going to add here is 3 tablespoons of butter. Make sure it's room temperature. The next thing we're going to add is 3 cups of bread flour. This is the one that I'm using. It's the White Lily. And this bread flour is ideal for yeast breads. So you want to make sure you're using bread flour. And because we are not going to want the yeast to touch the liquid or the salt, when I'm putting the bread flour in here, I'm trying to make sure that I cover all of the liquid up, all of the milk. The next thing we're going to add is a 1/4 cup of light brown sugar packed. For those of you who might not know what that is, packing, that just means to push it down inside your measuring cup and make sure to get a well-packed serving. And a teaspoon of salt goes in. Keep in mind where you put the salt here because remember you don't want the yeast to touch. And then we're going to take our yeast and we're going to put in a teaspoon. Okay, so here's my salt right here. So I'm just going to take my yeast and the liquid is over here. I don't want to touch the liquid. It's just very important that the yeast doesn't touch any of those ingredients till it starts to mix. So I'm just kind of putting it around here. Just like that. I'm just going to get this put into the machine. So I'm going to do this on basic and light, and it's going to go for 3 hours. Now it's going to knead for a minute, and once it's done doing its first knead, then we're going to go ahead and add our raisins. So it just finished doing its initial knead. So now I'm going to just dump in a cup of raisins. The recipe calls for golden raisins, but I have dark raisins. It doesn't matter, whichever ones you have on hand. Close the lid and forget about it until the machine turns off. That is easy peasy. Okay, we are on the second kneading, so you can see that, it's kind of blurry. I'm looking through the little window, but it's getting all those raisins mixed in with the dough. Yummy! Okay, the next recipe we're going to put together is the super easy old-fashioned pumpkin bread. I know there's a gazillion recipes out there, but it's always fun to mix it up and try something new. So the first thing I'm going to do is take 1 1/4 cups of all-purpose flour. I'm using my rice strainer here because I don't have a sifter, and this works just fine. There we go. We're going to take a teaspoon of baking soda. A 1/4 teaspoon of salt. One teaspoon of pumpkin pie spice. Okay. We're gonna whisk this together. I love these 1-pan or 1-bowl recipes. I have my oven preheated at 350 degrees. Now we're gonna add 1 egg. 1 cup of brown sugar, firmly packed. Now this makes 1 loaf, so if you guys want to make 2 loaves, then you're gonna wanna double this recipe, but 1 loaf will be plenty for us right now. We're gonna add a 1/4 cup of vegetable oil. And 1 cup of pumpkin puree or butternut squash puree, fresh or canned. I'm using the canned. And you want to use the puree, not the pumpkin pie filling, but the puree, the pumpkin puree. So it doesn't have anything in it but pumpkin. You can do this in your electric mixer. I just am choosing to not do that, but it actually will come together much nicer if you do it that way. Sometimes I like to pull it out and sometimes I don't. Just depends on how much baking I'm going to be doing. Lovely. It's a nice batter. Okay. Okay, now we're going to fold in 3/4 of a cup of walnuts. Yeah, that's about right. I like to break up any of the big guys. There we go. You guys can omit the walnuts if you choose, but we like walnuts in our bread, pumpkin bread. I made a pumpkin chocolate chip bread. Not a huge fan, guys. Not a huge fan. All right. That is a beautiful batter. Gorgeous. Okay. I have a parchment-lined bread pan here. I'm just going to give it a spray with some Pam. Putting some walnuts on top. so that everybody will know that it has walnuts in it. So if you have somebody with a nut allergy that comes over to your house, they know not to touch it. We're gonna get this put in the oven for 55 to 60 minutes, depending on your oven. I always start off with 55 and check it, and if I need to add 5 more minutes, I do. And then we'll show you what the finished product looks like. I have these peaches here that are, you know, they're soft. They're looking a little rough, but I need some diced and some sliced. So I'm gonna go ahead and take care of that now, cut out some of the bad parts. But baking is a perfect way to use fruits that start to look like this. Don't let them go to waste. Definitely use them. Okay, I'm gonna stop right there. If I need these two, I'll use them. I'll set these off to the side for now. Cold coffee. Okay, so we're gonna do our dry ingredients first, and that calls for 1 3/4 cups of all-purpose flour. Okay, 3/4 cups of granulated white sugar. A 1/2 cup of packed brown sugar. 2 teaspoons of baking powder. A teaspoon of ground ginger. Okay, that's it for our dry ingredients, so I'm just going to give it a whisk. All right, that's good. Okay, now we're going to do the wet ingredients in here. So we need 2/3 of a cup of sour cream. A 1/2 cup of vegetable oil. A tablespoon of honey. Two large eggs. All right, I'm gonna mix that together. Now we're going to mix the wet ingredients in with the dry ingredients. Now we're going to gently fold in our 1½ cups of diced pears. Okay, you can line your muffin pan if you want to. I'm going to choose not to do that. Alright, sprinkle a little brown sugar on each one. Okay, this goes into a 400-degree oven for 18 to 20 minutes, again, depending on your oven. And I'll show you what they look like when we're done. The pumpkin bread is done and beautiful. We're gonna work on the tart. And the first thing we're gonna make is the crust. So we need 1.5 cups of flour. We need a half teaspoon of salt, a teaspoon of sugar. Go ahead and get that sifted. In a separate bowl, we're going to add a 1/4 cup of vegetable oil, a 1/4 cup of good olive oil, 2 tablespoons of milk, and a 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla. I'm just gonna eyeball that. Okay, now we're going to mix this together. Now I don't have a tart pan, so I'm going to use one of my extra large cake pans. And I went ahead and traced the bottom out on parchment paper. So I'm just going to give that a cut. This is just going to help it not stick to the bottom, but I'm still going to go ahead and spray. Now we're just going to take our dough and we're going to press it. If I had a tart pan, it would be nice because it would have those beautiful ridges, right? All right, that's done. Now we're gonna make the topping that goes on top. So that's 2 tablespoons of flour, 3/4 of a cup of sugar, and 2 tablespoons of cold margarine or butter. Now we are simply just going to arrange our pears. Okay, we're gonna bake this at 425 for 35 to 45 minutes until it's shiny, bubbly, and the crust is beginning to brown. Well, here we go, guys. I have the dishwasher going with all of my mess, so excuse that noise. But everything turned out so delicious. I've already sampled this bread. This one just came out of the bread maker. Look how beautiful that loaf is. Just gorgeous. I don't like using muffin tins or the muffin things because I love how they get browned and they're still soft, but they're so yummy like this. And my rustic pear tart turned out beautiful. Everything is delicious and really easy recipes for you guys to use for fall. And as I find more, I will bring them to you guys. But these 4 are definitely a beautiful start for your fall baking. I had such a fantastic time sharing these recipes with you guys here in my kitchen. I'm really enjoying all of the fall vibes, the cozy vibes. The weather is magnificent here right now. I hope that it doesn't change. So it's really got me in the mood to just do all the cozy fall things. Ernie comes home tonight, so this isn't going to go to waste. I have granddaughter tomorrow, and the weekend's here, so that means people in and out, so I'll be able to share all these wonderful baked goods with everybody that comes into the house. I hope you guys enjoyed and are inspired to bake something yummy in your kitchen today. That is what I wanted to achieve, and I hope I did that. Thank you so much for staying till the end, guys, and we will see you in the next video. Bye!